Vevekuve. It was really serious of Vevekuve matter. Today, Democracy Day, the illegitimate president was feeling himself. He was parading the vehicle and all of that. And then they started singing Jagaban, Jagaban, Jagaban. All of a sudden, others took it up. Minimum wage, minimum wage. In short, let me not talk too Well, you saw it there. Minimum wage. You must pay minimum wage. That's protest in its way. People always think protest has to be one form. You have to do it's protest coming there, and heckling him and making those demands. Let him hear that people are not happy with him. Those sycophants that wanted to go on with their sycophancy, they just shut them down and come out to say this. Oh my goodness, it's really it's just crazy. It's just crazy. A lot of crazy things, that went on all over in that place. It's just a whole lot of craziness, that is happening, that happened within that particular environment. We also saw where Bola Tinubu, fell down while he was trying to climb the stairs towards where I think it was even the vehicle, climbing the vehicle. You saw him stumbling and him falling. And for me, one of the things I just look at, these are people, they can't even take care of themselves. First of all, falling is something that anybody can do. It can happen to anybody. You stumble sometimes. But there are people who are there. You would expect them to either stand very close to him, knowing very well that he doesn't have the power to walk alone. But these are people who, even in issues that concern them, you see they do not have the capacity to be able to take care of themselves, talk less of taking care of things that have to do with the people. Just watch.
Of the reviewing officer, the special guest of honor and reviewing officer for today's historic occasion, His Excellency President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, was born on 29 March.
So you see there, you saw him, falling and tumbling back. You could have expected those people around him, knowing fully well that he doesn't really have that much power. There should have been two people standing by him just to provide that support and stylishly hold him to be able to get on. But hey, these are people who don't even have the capacity to be able to take care of themselves. Talk less of capacity, to take care of the nation. So many, whole lot of drama. Let me put on my glasses. Whole lot of drama, that has been going on all over with this Democracy Day. And the next one, of course, is on the issue of portrait. They unveiled a large portrait. They said the largest portrait in the world that was done by, is it 37 artists? For one from each of the states of the nation plus Abuja, and they unveiled this big portrait on Democracy Day. And your guess is as good as mine. Guess whose picture it was? The illegitimate president, of course, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's so desperate for legitimacy. He's so desperate. And there are a lot of people who came out to say they were shocked because they expected that portrait was going to be the portrait of MKO Abiola, the man who 31 years ago, in 1993, on this day, 31 years ago, that was denied the election that he clearly won. Nigerians came out to vote for him. I voted on that day. I was in Kano. I stood behind the queue with his picture, and he actually won in Kano, even though Bashir Tofa, the person, his opponent, was actually from Kano State. But at the end of the day, that election was cancelled. Everybody, and this Democracy Day is named it's named Democracy Day mainly because of him. You would have expected, and on a day like this, that it's the portrait of, MKO Abiola that will be unveiled. But guess who wants power by all means and did everything to get there? Guess who is looking for legitimacy by all means? Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, he made the portrait all about himself. Like somebody said, the the feeling of North Korea, and what's the name of that their head of state president or whatever, Jim Yu or whatever, what that name is. That's the feeling. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where they are taking Nigerians to, where they're saying Nigerians don't have power to speak, cannot do anything, and it goes on. People take it back. Protesters that were on the streets that came out to protest, some of them have been arrested. You wonder, what kind of a country are we turning into? Is this a democracy or is this a dictatorship? It's definitely not democracy the way democracy should be. But for me, like I always say, once upon a time, I thought I would never see democracy in my country, in my lifetime, but I've seen it. There were people who died for us to get the democracy that we have today. And so we must be ready to work and build and get that democracy that gives dividends of democracy, and not this one that just gives dividends to a few people who happen to have captured, power. So it's been a whole lot of drama this Democracy Day, and so many things, going on, and all of that. But what I would say to you as a Nigerian is that there is a duty on us, there's a responsibility on us for us to do the right thing for our country. There's a responsibility for us not to allow ourselves to continue to be slaves, to be treated anyhow. We must stand up for Nigeria, we must stand up for our country, and we must ensure that we are doing the things we need to do to get the country that we want to get. If we do not do the things we need to do to get the country that we want to get, I can assure you that 30 years from now, 40 years from now, we'll be old. That's if for those that will be alive, old, and regretful of what the nation would have turned out to be, worse than ever anything. So let's put in the work now and be able to get that country that everyone will be able to work with. So hey, yeah, it's Democracy Day, and it's not the democracy we would have wished to see, but at least we have the democracy. Now is the time for us to put in the things and get that, and not allow people who rig their way into office be the ones to continue to determine our future for us, doing nothing and thinking, hey, it's none of my business, anybody can get there. Well, anybody can get there and destroy your life, and that's what we are seeing right now. How much have you bought tomato recently? I see a lot of Nigerians are being creative and doing all sorts of things, using all sorts of other substances in place of tomatoes. Hey, Naija. God will not do for us what he has given us capacity to do for ourselves. Stand up and stand up for your right.